Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I will react to geography, Algeria, and yeah, it will be a shorter videos. It was one of the earlier episodes where he still made shorter videos. They became more long with later videos in the alphabet. So we will start with Algeria. I know about Algeria that the French tested the nuclear weapons there at first, and yeah, before it was independent country and still part of the French Empire. So that's something I know. Also, the capital is Algiers, and it is the largest country in Africa. So that's some basic things I know about Algeria. And yeah, let's start with the video and try to, and maybe I will learn something new. I'm sure I will learn something new. So yeah, let's start.
Now just remember, when going to Algeria, no matter how much French these people speak to you, do not call them French.
Yeah, it used to be part of the French Colonial Empire, and of course colonies are not anymore, they don't exist anymore, not in the same way as they existed in the centuries before this current one. So yeah, don't call them French. Also don't call probably people from Angola part of Portugal. They had some wars there also very lately and recently. So yeah, colonies are not anymore.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Paul Barbano. Today we're going to talk.
And also, yeah, I told this already. It's one of his earlier videos. So yeah. I will also react maybe to new, more recent ones like Turkey and so, but yeah. Write them in the comments if you want to have me reacting to one of those. Yeah, continue.
About Algeria. Let's dissect the flag. The flag of Algeria is pretty simple, just white, green, and a red crescent and star. The white representing peace, the green representing Islam, and the crescent and star not only representing Islam, but the red of the crescent and star also representing the blood of those who fought for Algeria. By the way, full disclaimer, you're going to start to kind of see a pattern going on of a lot of countries using red on their flags to represent the blood of those spilled for who fought for something. Just a little heads up. As of right now,
I think many African country flags, the green represents always the nature, the yellow often the desert, especially in the more upper countries in the north, and the red, yeah, the freedom fighting aspect.
Algeria is the largest country in all of Africa. That title used to belong to Sudan. However, back in 2011, Sudan split up into two separate countries, decreasing their landmass and giving that title over to Algeria. Algeria is located in the North African region known as the Maghreb, which is basically every North African country west of Egypt. Algeria is also surrounded by 6 other countries in the area, although the Sahrawi people will tell you that Western Sahara is totally a separate country and it belongs to them, but we'll discuss that a little bit later in this video. And lucky enough, in the north, Algeria borders the Mediterranean Sea, which has played a huge crucial role in its nationalistic development and import-export economy.
Yeah, they have some kind of area where they can grow stuff. I mean, culturally, it's very important for them. This is for all of the countries in the north of Africa, Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, and Egypt. I think they have all the same common advantage to in comparison to countries like Chad. Yeah, maybe also Sudan, but although Sudan has some coastal areas, it's Red Sea. But yeah, definitive an advantage towards Chad. I'm not sure about Mali. I think Mali has also coast. Mali has no coast, I think. So Mali and Chad, for example, are countries which is disadvantage in comparison to these countries.
economy. In fact, out of all the 48 provinces of Algeria, over 90% of the entire population lives in the upper 37 provinces that border the Mediterranean Sea. The remaining 10% living in the lower provinces, which take up a landmass that is about 7 times the size of all the upper 37 provinces combined. Some of these provinces, like Tindouf and Elisi, although huge, barely even have 50,000 people inhabiting them. Now, why do so many people want to live in the north part of Algeria and not the south? We're going to answer that question in physical geography.
Sahara.
If you look at a satellite map of Algeria, you'll notice that pretty much the only green part is in the north by the Tel Atlas mountain range. The reason being that this is pretty much the only region of Algeria that has a somewhat mild and wetter climate. And even though this region only takes up a small slice of the entire territory of Algeria, it is so crucial to these people. Only about 3% of Algeria's land is arable. That's not enough for them to sustain themselves agriculturally, and to this day about 45% of their food comes from imports. Pretty much everything south of the Tel Atlas mountain range is Saharan desert. If you really look at this region, you'll notice communities and towns like Regane, Adrar, where they are actually kind of thriving and flourishing. The reason is because, like many other people groups in the Sahara, these people have mastered the art of desert agriculture. You might see these skid mark looking things right next to the towns, and you might ask yourselves, what are these things? Well, if you look a little closer, those are actually date palm groves. And you'd be surprised, if you look in the right place, you might actually be able to find a lot of underground water sources or oases, or maybe even a lake or two in the Sahara. It's not completely devoid of water sources. Algeria has also completed the daunting task of building several trans-Saharan roadways that go throughout the entire Saharan desert into their southern neighbor countries such as Niger, Mali, and Mauritania. The people in this region can be very interesting. So interesting that we're going to talk about it in demographics! Algeria has about 37 million people, or roughly a little bit more.
It's usually more than I thought. I thought it would be more like 10 or 12 million, so I was wrong here.
Than the size of Canada. You know, I think I'm probably going to end up using Canada a lot in terms of population comparison in this series, but The vast majority of these people identify as ethnically Arab Berber. For those of you who don't know, the Berbers are a semi-nomadic people group who have historically occupied the region of the Maghreb for thousands of years prior to any empire or colonial occupation or modern-day country establishment. The Berbers are a fascinating people group that have their own culture, history, and language, and in fact to this day about a third of Algerians speak the Berber language. In fact, Algeria is one of the only two countries in the world that considers Berber a national language. Not quite official. Morocco is the only one that makes it official. However, Algerians really do recognize it. However, Berber is so prevalent in many regions of Algeria that you shouldn't be surprised to see trilingual signs posted up all over the place.
Moment.
Regions of Algeria that you shouldn't be surprised to see trilingual signs posted up.
I just wanted I moved back in the video to just see the sign. So here's Arabic in the top, and La Commune de Sèvres, okay, that's French, and that's Berber. It looks interesting. Some letters look a bit like Greek, but it's probably nothing like it. It's just this like the sum sign when you are familiar with mathematics. This the second sign. Looks like a bit a Greek letter, but yeah.
All over the place in Arabic, French, and Berber. In fact, some of the Berbers in Algeria are also Sahrawi. Now, what does that mean? Sahrawis are basically people who believe that Western Sahara is theirs and it should belong to them, and that it should become an independently recognized sovereign nation under their jurisdiction. See, after Spain left in 1975, the jurisdiction of Western Sahara pretty much went into the hands of Morocco and Mauritania. Unfortunately, there was a third party that was not too happy with that, the Sahrawis. Eventually, the Polisario Front was established, or the Liberation Movement for the Sahrawi people in Western Sahara, and they fought against both Mauritania and Morocco. Eventually, Mauritania backed down, and Morocco somehow was able to take control of most of the major cities and resources, and to this day, it remains kind of under autonomous control under Morocco, but the Sahrawis kind of take over the eastern part. It's complicated. Where Algeria comes into
And I heard that for Morocco to accept Israel as an independent country, the United States accepted Morocco's claim over the Western Sahara area. Yeah, I think the people there should have their own country. I mean, or at least give them the option to vote for it. But yeah, if you're from Morocco, I'm not understanding everything of this conflict. I just see that the country is always grayed out on maps all over the world, and yeah, I think in general people should decide for themselves to which country they belong. So don't misunderstand me. I don't claim to understand everything, and I don't claim to have the right opinion in this way. I just say what I think. And if you can convince me otherwise, then just do it in the comments. But stay politely and don't say that I'm an idiot or so, because I just try to do something good, and I don't know everything.
Plague. Well, Algeria kind of gives refuge to the whole Polisario front in the very western city of Tindouf. After all the drama with Morocco and Mauritania, the only place that the Sahrawis really had left to go was Algeria. You can imagine how that kind of probably made Morocco feel. Which brings us to our next segment, the friend zone. Now, when it comes to Algeria, they generally get along with all the other countries in the Maghreb region, but when it comes to the Polisario front thing, it causes kind of a little bit of tension between them and Morocco. Algeria is a strong supporter of the Sahrawi independence movement, and Morocco just is not. Now, in terms of business, Greece has always been one of their top trade partners. It also has friendly relations with Cyprus, as it supports the Cyprus side of the Cyprus reunification movement, which doesn't really jive too well with Turkey. Now, when it comes to France, things get a little interesting. See, in the early 1800s, France occupied and settled Algeria and pretty much made it an overseas dependency. Over the next century of their occupation, France greatly influenced the culture, the architecture, the cuisine, and even the language. To this day, French is the de facto language of Algeria. However, as you can guess, like most countries in former European colonial empires, Algeria started to kind of fight back. However, after independence, the Algerians kind of realized that the French influence had really permeated their culture so much that they kind of didn't exactly want to completely cut off the French altogether. And despite the drama and historical animosity, Algerians and the French have a relatively well diplomatic relationship today. It's almost kind of like the USA and England. Now, in terms of their closest relationships, Algeria more or less might consider Tunisia and Libya their best friends, considering that both countries support the Sahrawi independence movement, and historically they've had a very rich in cultural similarity and resonance with each other. So in conclusion, Algeria isn't just another North African country, but it's a country that stands for things and survives and builds roads across the desert. You gotta give it to them. Plus they got really good food there. Thanks for watching. Andorra is coming next.
And yeah, the video has reached its end, and as you also noticed, the webcam is not on. So I thought trying out some videos without the webcam, because it anyway just shows the desk. At some point I want to show something, then I will turn on the webcam. Like in the French episode where I had this little sign and I read something in French. Then of course I will show the webcam, but maybe otherwise not. I will see. Yes, how about the Western Sahara thing? I support normally independence movements all over the world. I think also Northern Cyprus, the country which is only recognized by Turkey. I think maybe also they should have the option to also other countries recognize them if it is their choice. So the people who live there should decide to which country they belong or what country they want to be. So if they want to be their own country, like Scotland, also I think next year, 2023, I mean, they want to vote for another independence thing. I think they should be able to do this. And of course, not always when people vote for something, it can be manipulated, but just don't give them the options at all is also not good. So such independence movements and declaring their own country and becoming independent, becoming a new country should happen under kind of, I mean, that people from outside look on the matter and see that it is it's really the will of the people, not just someone manipulated them. So that's of course something to be a bit concerned about, and to but if the people really want this, then you should not, or another country should not prevent them to do this. So in general, I don't say anything about any specific country. I think mostly they should be independent, but in some cases it's maybe also not good. But yeah, let the people decide. Long story short, still, I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I just say my opinion. Yeah, next video I think I will maybe react to Morocco. It would fit, I think. But maybe also to another country. If you like the videos I make, subscribe to the channel and like the video. You can even send it to someone else if you think that my takes are somehow good at some point. I try my best. Also take a look at the reaction playlist if you want. Maybe you have missed some videos which would be interesting to see. I don't know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Subscribe for my channel.